A pop star posts a video. 30 seconds, talking to camera about a new project. Within an hour, strangers are freeze-framing it. Not the song, not the film, not the work. The arms. The collarbones. The shape of her face in bad lighting. And almost every comment arrives wearing the same careful expression. Worry. Nobody in the thread admits to being cruel. I'm not hating. I'm genuinely concerned. Someone please check on her. This isn't shaming, I just care. This is not a film about Ariana Grande's body. It's a film about that sentence, and what it's actually for. The pattern is seasonal now. A premiere, a press tour, an award show, and the conversation restarts on schedule. One photograph is enough. Cropped, brightened, zoomed until the pixels break, then posted with a question mark for legal cover. The most effective version needs no words at all. 2 images, side by side. One from now, one from a decade ago. That comparison is the entire argument. Then, healthy. Now, something is wrong. The viewer supplies the diagnosis themselves. It's a remarkably efficient piece of rhetoric. It makes an accusation about a stranger's health without ever making a claim. And it produces something that looks like care but functions like surveillance, a crowd monitoring a woman's body and publishing the results. The reward for that monitoring is engagement. Concern, it turns out, performs better than insults. The algorithm learned that years ago. Here is the part the cycle keeps forgetting, every single time it comes around. She already answered this. On the record. April 2023. A phone camera, no publicist, no press release. Grande recorded herself asking people to be more careful about bodies. She said the body strangers were comparing her current body to was the unhealthiest version of her body she had ever had. She described being on antidepressants, drinking, eating poorly, at a time when the internet had decided she looked well. That is the whole flaw in the method. The public cannot see health. It can only see thinness, and then guess. Her actual request was modest. Not that people stop discussing her music. That they stop treating bodies as open comment sections. And she included compliments in that. Praise and criticism send the same message: your body is a public document we are reading. None of this was invented for Ariana Grande. She inherited a template, built and perfected on the women who came before her. 2007, Britney Spears is photographed on what are, by any measure, the worst days of her life. The pictures run everywhere. Talk show hosts built monologues from them. Magazines ran countdowns. Cameras waited outside hospitals for the shot that would pay best. A single exclusive set was reportedly worth 6 figures. The distress wasn't a side effect of the coverage. It was the product. And the language used at the time was not cruelty. It was concern. Everyone involved insisted they were only worried about her. It took roughly 14 years, a conservatorship, a long court fight and a documentary before that worry was called by its real name. The apologies arrived around 2021, addressed to one woman, as though the machine had only ever been aimed at her personally. It hadn't been. It just moved out of newsrooms with editors and lawyers, and into millions of accounts with neither. Which brings us to the cost almost nobody counts, because it isn't paid by anyone famous enough to be worth mentioning. Every side-by-side is also a lesson. It teaches the thousands of people scrolling past it exactly how to look at themselves. In internal research leaked in 2021, 32% of teen girls said that when they already felt bad about their bodies, Instagram made it worse. That figure came from the company's own researchers. Not from critics. From the people building the comparison engine, measuring what it did. The engine doesn't hate anyone. It just serves the next image, and the next, until looking becomes a habit. And habits don't stay online. They follow you to the mirror. To see what images do to people, it helps to find a place that got them all at once. Broadcast television reached one province of Fiji in 1995. Researchers were already there, surveying teenage girls. In the first survey, not one girl reported vomiting to control her weight. The local ideal was a strong, solid body. 3 years later, 11% reported it. 74% said they felt too big or too fat. Nobody ran a campaign. There were no comment sections. The girls simply watched shows where thin women got good lives. The lesson was never in the criticism. It was in the quiet supply of what a valued body looks like. The difference now is that the images talk back. Every body arrives with a comment section already attached. In April 2023, Ariana Grande stopped waiting for the conversation to end. She picked up her phone and answered it. She asked for one thing first, that people be, in her words, a little more gentle and less comfortable commenting on bodies. Then came the sentence that reframed everything. The body strangers were holding up as her healthy one was, she said, the unhealthiest version of her body. The image everyone treated as the standard was the symptom. She described antidepressants, drinking while taking them, eating badly. She said it was the lowest point of her life. Healthy can look different, she said. 4 words against a decade of side-by-sides. The whole comparison assumed the older photograph was the baseline. She was telling everyone the baseline was wrong. There is a rule the comments section cannot follow. You cannot read a life off a photograph. May the 22nd, 2017. A bomb detonated at Manchester Arena as her audience left the show. 22 people were killed. She has spoken since about post-traumatic stress, about anxiety she struggled to describe, about a body that kept its own record. September 2018. Mac Miller, her former partner, died. She was 25 years old. Grief changes appetite. So does trauma. So does medication, illness, surgery, a role, a schedule, a bad year. None of it is legible in a still frame. The frame shows an outline. People read it as a diagnosis. And a public diagnosis has a second audience, everyone who shares that body and reads the verdict as being about them. In the United States alone, an estimated 28.8 million people will have an eating disorder in their lifetime. So how do you tell concern from consumption? There is a test, and it has nothing to do with tone. Real concern is private and specific. It goes to the person, or to someone close enough to actually do something. Public concern is addressed to an audience. It performs care while harvesting attention from the very body it claims to protect. Some countries went after the supply. France, 2017, commercial photographs with digitally altered body shapes must carry a label. Norway followed in 2021, requiring influencers to label retouched images in paid posts. Both laws target the picture. Neither touches the comment underneath it, and the comment is the part that is grown. Meanwhile, the help thinned out. In 2023, the main U.S. eating disorder helpline closed. The chatbot replacing it was pulled for giving dieting advice. We built enormous capacity to comment on bodies, and almost none to help them. That gap is where this whole argument lives. Grande asked for something small. A little more gentle. A little less comfortable. Not silence,